Good day, Doctor. We are from Group G and we are going to present our Project A with the title of The Global Climate Crisis and Call to Action. Let us have a quick overview on the 1.5 degrees Celsius climate target, which to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels, which align in the Paris Agreement in year 2015. Additionally, the net zero emission is referred to the balance between the greenhouse gas emitted and removed from the atmosphere. Transitioning to 1.5 climate imperative is essential for the global to action to mitigate the climate's impacts for reducing the extreme hydrological events such as the floods and droughts. Second, we need to protect the vulnerable communities such as the small island nations which facing adaptation challenges due to the climate change. Last but not least, all nations share the duty to prevent the irreversible change by addressing the issues such as the overpopulations and species extinction. The climate diplomacy timeline since the Kyoto Protocols include the Bali Roadmap and Copenhagen's Accord. Next is followed by Khartoum Agreements, Doha Agreements, and the pivotal Paris Agreement in year 2015. In year 2021, the Glasgow Climate Pact urged the countries to reduce the coal use and eliminate the fossil fuel subsidies. Based on the historical and current emission by sectors, power industry became the largest contributor to these emissions. Next, it was followed by the transportation sector and industrial sector. In summary, the global carbon dioxide emissions are projected to rise until 2050. By the year 2025, the cumulative emissions may reach about 4,300 billion metric tons based on the trends since the year 2019. The failure to act on climate change could lead to a temperature rise of 2.4 degrees Celsius to 4.4 degrees Celsius. The data shows a significant shift in the emission patterns. The US was a top emitter since the 19th century until China surpassed it in year 2005. Currently, the extra emissions was rise due to the rising of the living standards. Here are the list of the countries with the cumulative emissions above and below 1%. According to IPCC, to maintain 1.5 degrees Celsius target with 60 probability, the global carbon budget is set at 400 billion tons of carbon dioxide. But if the emission hit 500 billion tons of carbon dioxide between year 2020 and year 2050, the likelihood drops to 50%. Besides, in order to stay at 1.5 degrees Celsius path, 45% of reduction in global carbon dioxide emissions from the year 2010 levels is required.
So as your information, in 2022, the energy sector already reached a new record of 37 gigaton of emission. So there is very urgent to implement a green energy solution to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. So one of the solution is solar industry. Due to it can generate the heat within a wave temperature range. So it is suitable for various industrial application, including the food production and also the chemical process. So the industry can use their unused land for the solar power generation and also build a energy storage system to ensure a stable solar energy supply. Besides, the automation industry can also be a green solution due to it can real-time computer software control so that it can increase the plant production line effective and also minimize the raw material waste. Indirectly, it can reduce the GHG emission also. So these two green solution is aligned with the Malaysia and ETR, which are energy effective and also the green renewable energy. So as you can see, they have set some target to achieve by 2015. So that is very important for the Malaysian industry to apply these two solution to achieve the target by 2015.
According to the United Nations Environment Programme in 2023, about a quarter of the world's greenhouse gases emission come from the transport sector, and this number is predicted to go up by 2050. To meet the strict emission goal set up in the well below 1.5 degrees Celsius power, widespread adoption of transportation mode that emit fewer greenhouse gases is required. The first stage in this effort will be actively encouraging the widespread use of electric vehicles for personal and public transportation. Electric vehicles have a number of beneficial features including increased energy efficiency and significant decrease in the carbon dioxide emission. The second approach is the transition to low-emission transportation, which involves a shift more sustainable modes such as the public transportation, walking, and cycling. The travel demand management was implemented aimed to reduce the number of travel taken by the private light-duty vehicle. achieve zero carbon transportation, change in aviation and maritime travel into more eco-friendly are necessary by using greener fuel, optimized transportation route, and shift to rail and waterway. According to Malaysia GHG inventory from BOR4, transportation represents a significant contributor to the GHG emission in Malaysia. Therefore, NETR also set specific targets for various transportation sectors to address emission and promote sustainable mobility. To summarize, the approach outlined in the NETR aligns with the several global recommendations and established methods designed to reduce the transportation emission. However, it is recommended to establish continuous monitoring and evaluation systems to measure the effectiveness of this initiative and adapt them to the changing of global standards.
The third aspect of mitigation is green finance. It enhances the financial flow for sustainable development. Without an effective green financing system, countries struggling to progress in their carbon reduction action. The three main sources of green financing are government, business, and citizens. In addition, some financing options example are green bonds, carbon credit and offsets, impact investment, and others. Green Fund is one of the green finance. The United Nations Framework Convention, UNFC, has established Green Climate Fund, GCF. It provides financial support such as grants, concession fees, and so on. In addition, it successfully initiated 190 projects in 127 developing countries. Another interesting green finance is emission trading scheme. There are international and national emission trading. The concept is a specific emission to allow to emit is fixed, which is the emission cap. Carbon credits can be bought or sold. Let's say the plant B emissions falls below its cap. It can sell carbon credits to plant A that exceeding its cap, so that plant A can emit the extra emission. Consequently, authorities involved surpassing their emission limits will strive to reduce emission. On the other hand, according to the International Carbon Action Partnership in 2023, there are decrease of CO2 in 15.5%. In the aspect of green finance, the green funds in global is Green Climate Fund, which have grants, debt, and so on. While for Malaysia, we have Green Sukuk that provide public investment and loans. The recommendation for NETR is more aspect for financing and investment. On top of that, for the national emission trading, China has the world's largest national ETS. It is mandatory for certain economic sectors such as heat, cement, and others. In Malaysia, the carbon market is voluntary. The recommendation for NETR is the system is mandatory ETS for companies and industry that heavily emits carbon, so that it can motivate those authorities to reduce carbon emissions. Thank you for listening to our presentation.